friends, welcome back to A Knitter's Life. I'm Christina, your host for A Knitter's Life podcast. Are you ready to get knitting? Okay, let's get started. Well, I need to say a big welcome back to all of you friends and also all of you new friends out there. We've had some new friends join us, and it's always so fun for you guys for us to have you join the community of knitters and hear from you. So thanks for all of you who've popped onto the Ravelry group and just said hello and told us a little bit about yourself. It's fun to get to know you in that way and to hear a little bit about your knitting story. You can find me, for those of you who are new and who don't know, you can find me when I'm not podcasting on Instagram. I love Instagram. You can find me on there as A Knitter's Life, and you can find my Ravelry patterns, my knitting patterns under Christina Wall in Ravelry. And then you can find some of the little project bags that I make on Etsy. And my Etsy shop is A Knitter's Life. So pretty much all standard across the board, easy to find, hopefully. So, but I'm so glad to make it back and to share some time with you. Today I am wearing my sweater. I don't know what to call it. My revamped sweater, or I love Dottie Angel's use of woolly tattoo. So in some respects I should call it my woolly tattoo cardigan. You can see I did a woolly tattoo on my on the shoulder of the cardigan, as well as the lace edging that I did. But I just thought it would be fun to make like a pretend little brooch for me myself. I used a doily and then I embroidered around it. So I showed that to you guys last time, but I've had so much fun wearing it. So I've been wearing it endlessly, which is great because spring is coming and we won't have this cold, chilly weather, and we'll be wearing warmer weather things. So it's fun to use these hand knits that we make, right? We have to tell ourselves that at this stage because it is we haven't had some warm weather, and it's been so much fun to be outside, and the boys have really enjoyed being outside, and you start to enjoy it, you're doing other things, and well, we're back inside because we've had a snowstorm. Not terribly, not a lot of snow, but we had some sleet and some rain. Well, rain and then sleet and then snow. So it didn't make for great driving conditions. But I think we're through that, and I think it's going to warm up again. But anyways, all of that to say, I am wearing my sweater, my revamped woolly tattooed sweater, and it's been so fun to wear, and I'm drinking some yummy tea. Last week I got the joy of going with my son John to his first grade field trip to an English tea room. Now how fun is that? I thought, man, I want to be in first grade again. So it was fun that the parents got to go along, at least one parent with every child. And we went to Tina's traditional Old English kitchen tea room, and it's adorable, and she blends her own tea. And I think a long time ago I talked about this because my mom brought me some tea back from her tea shop, but I had never gone, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. She has it beautifully decorated with bunting and beautiful china and just light and airy things. She is an English woman who hails originally from Hertfordshire, and she is transplanted here to Indiana. And as she so funnily pointed out to these first graders, that she's been in Indiana longer than most of the children have been alive, because most of the children are 6 and 7, and she's been in Indiana for I think 9 years. So that was funny. We all got a hearty laugh out of that. So she's more of a Hoosier than the children who were born here in some respects. But it was cute. She loves tea. She said she was known for drinking lots and lots of tea when she was little, and so it's very appropriate that she now owns and operates a tea room. But she blends her own tea. So I'm drinking some of that here. It is the 1776 blend, which has hints of maple and strawberry combined with Ceylon and Assam, and definitely A psalm is one of my favorites. And maple, hello, I was born in Vermont, right? Can't get hints of maple. I always swoon for hints of maple, so it's the perfect tea. So that's what I'm enjoying to start this little episode off. It's episode 31. So hip hip hooray. I'm still older than my podcast number. I probably shouldn't say that, but that's okay. I'm getting old. Okay, maybe I should edit that out. I wanted to mention a few podcasts that I've really been, boy, we're tipping, sorry guys, that I've really been enjoying this past week, because it's really, it's so fun to sit down and watch other podcasters and just hear about their conversation about knitting, what they're doing. They inspire me. I mean, it's fun to see what other people are doing. That's one of the reasons why we love knitting groups, right? This is just our online knitting group. So I really have been enjoying Along the Lanes. She has such a delightful podcast. She knows how to put things together in such a fun way, her little clips. And then I love how she takes her creativity into every aspect of her life, which is something that if you've been watching for any length of time, that's what I try to do, because creativity is not just about one tiny little aspect of your life, but it should encompass all of your life. Just in how your work, how you host people in your home, just everything. And so she does that, and she shows creativity in her cooking, creativity in her art. Of course, she knits and spins as well, so it's fun to see that. But even her creativity in how she films things. I am so envious of her creativity in how she films things and how she puts them together. And it's fun to have someone to aspire to be when you grow up. So go check her out. I'll provide the links down in the drop-down box below here. But if you haven't already been watching, definitely Along the Lanes is a fun podcast to check out. So then another podcast that I've been really enjoying lately is a fairly new podcast. It's Katie with Inside Number 23. And perhaps all of you have been watching her already, which is fabulous. You should be. But if you haven't, she's a real delight. She has such enthusiasm for knitting and for creativity. And you can see she has a great love of Harry Potter, which is so fun, because I know nothing of Harry Potter. I don't know if I should admit this. Like, is this going to be dangerous? Am I going to get in trouble? I don't know. But dare I say it? I've never read a Harry Potter book. I guess I'm beginning to show my age, because I think I should move off. This is dangerous territory. But I do need to read Harry Potter books. But because I haven't read them, I really enjoy hearing about them, and I need to watch the movies too. Are you guys really going to kill me? Yeah, I think you are. I'm going to get hounded here because I haven't watched the movies either. Okay, so I need to do that. I need to read the books and need to watch the movies. I thought that I would read the books with John when he gets kind of to be of that age. Right now he's still he's reading the Hardy Boys, which is so cute, because I read the Hardy Boys when I was little, and Nancy Drew, and he's reading the Hardy Boys right now, and he loves them. Well, I should say this. We are reading the Hardy Boys to him. He is reading, but his level of reading is Blueberries for Sal, So he loves listening to books, though, that we read to him. So he's really enjoying the Hardy Boys. He gets so frustrated because each end of the chapter is a cliffhanger. And it's, why do they write them like this? This is terrible, because we finish a chapter and it's time for him to go to bed, but he's so excited about what's coming next. Anyways, long rant to say, I haven't read the Harry Potter books, and I hope to soon with John. But I've really been enjoying Katie's talk about Harry Potter, and how it came up was, I think in episode 5, she started a new little segment in her podcast about Netflix and knits. And hello, people. Isn't that so appropriate? Because don't a lot of us watch Netflix and knit at the same time? And I don't know about you, but I get a lot of inspiration watching shows, especially old British shows. I'm an Anglophile at heart, I guess. So, like things like the Miss Marple. I love seeing the hand knits and Miss Marple shows. I love watching Foyle's War and watching all the hand knits and that. Recently, I forget what the Women's Institute masterpiece production was called. That will come to me. But I loved watching that because that was World War II and the Women's Institute and all of the history behind that. And they were wearing hand knits and they were knitting and it was just so much fun. And of course, one of my very favorite shows, which you can find on Netflix right now, is Call the Midwife. I loved the Call the Midwife series when they first came out, and still now too. But I watched those faithfully. I read all the books. She has written some wonderful books. Sadly, she passed away right before the first filming, or was it the airing of the first series, which was really sad. But so the author never got to see the series in production, but one of her main proponents was that she wanted a young actress to play her in this series, and she wanted to give that young actress a step forward, and she really did. So anyways, I love the whole concept of Call the Midwife, and I love the story behind everything. So I was very inspired when I first started watching them to knit a sweater. Are you following me here? A sweater like the midwives wear. Why? I don't know, but I just love this series so much. And so I did begin it. This was several years ago now. And here it is. I have had it languishing in the closet until I was so reminded by, see, it's all the way down to the ribbing, and I'm working on a sleeve, though the sleeve was down to here, and I've done that much since this week. So it's coming. I have a whole nother sleeve and then the button band to do. For some odd reason, it started languishing in the closet, and I wasn't reminded of it until Katie of Inside Number 23 brought up her Netflix and Knit segment. So Katie, you inspired me to get this back out, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it because I think Call the Midwife airs again here in the States sometime in March. So I've got to finish it for at least during that series. I think what are we on, the 5th series now? But I will. It's a very plain and boring sweater. There is no pattern. I decided to try the contiguous sleeve method by Susie Myers. So you can see I did that. And it's a top-down contiguous satin sleeve. So it's a satin sleeve. Sorry, we are totally shaking today. Hope nobody gets seasick. And the yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and it is in their sport weight. So it's a sport weight sweater. It's interesting. I looked at various yarn companies trying to find the perfect color for the sweater, because it does. It's a perfect match for the sweater that they wear in the Call the Midwife show. And Knit Picks was the only one that had this perfect color, and it's the color is Holly Berry. So if any of you want to make Call the Midwife sweaters, you go to Knit Picks and get their Holly Berry colorway. So anyways, I hope that I will be finishing this soon, and you'll probably see this in the next several weeks as I work on it. But that was fun. So thank you, Katie, for sparking my memory, and I feel challenged to, even though it's not Harry Potter themed, it is Netflix and knit themed, so I'm hopefully going to finish it. So go check her out if you haven't. And I'd love to hear if you all are, if you all are inspired by things that you see or watch on Netflix, things to knit. I know the Outlander series, which is not on Netflix, has been an inspiration to many in their knitting. But go ahead, get in the Ravelry group and talk about your favorite movies and your favorite hand knits in those movies. It would be fun to hear. So, finished objects. Oh my goodness. So, I finished a beautiful passerine hat for my mother. This was in between when I last podcasted and Valentine's, which was really just 5 days, and I knit on that hat furiously. If you don't know what the passerine hat is, here, I'll pop in a picture. Isn't it cute? I had to pop in a picture of snowdrops as well, because we did find those. We went on a walk in the woods and we found some snowdrops. It was wonderful. It was right before the snowstorm came, and so it was just like that promise of spring, it's coming. So, but anyways, I made my mom the passerine hat, and I knew she had a small head. I knew that it's much smaller than mine, and anytime I make a hat for her, it's always too big because I go on my head size. So I knew I needed to go down a needle size. So I knit the ribbing. I think it calls for a 2 and a 3. So I went and I knit the ribbing on a 1 and I did the body on a 2. Well, I got done with that, guys. I got done with that hat and I freaked out, like totally freaked out. And I didn't have time to knit her another hat because the hat was tiny. It was so tiny. It was like, I don't even know if this will fit John. It did fit John. But I was thinking, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this hat. It's so tiny. The circumference was 18 inches, which is, a child's measurement. Oh, I just so upset about it. And I just, how you get that sick feeling in the pit of your stomach? Well, that's how I felt. I thought, well, the best thing I can do is I can go to Mass Ave Knit Shop, which is a knitting store close to Wildwood Market where I work on Saturday mornings. And I could pick up some yarn, and I could at least give her and gift her some yarn and say, Mom, I'm really sorry I made this hat for you. It's too small, but I'm going to reknit it in these beautiful colors. Aren't they gorgeous? So that was my plan. So I worked on Saturday morning. I had to work later than I normally do because it was just swamped. The store was just swamped with people coming in and ordering cheese plates for Valentine's Day and picking up their Valentine's flower orders. And Craig had mussels from Bar Harbor, Maine in there and scallops. And so people were talking about what they were cooking, and just there was lines out the wazoo. We were selling out of the food that we usually make, a breakfast sandwich and then a lunch sandwich, and then we have soups too for people to eat for lunch. It's a grocery store / cafe kind of thing. And it's all local produce, so that's kind of fun. Anyways, we were selling out of the soup, we were selling out of the sandwiches. There was just, but everybody was in such a jolly mood, and I stayed later to help people and check people out. So I got out of work and I headed over to the Mass Ave Knit Shop. I zoomed in. I went over to the Madeline Tosh unicorn tails. I picked up some unicorn tails and checked out, and then I zoomed home. And then the following day was Valentine's Day, and my family all got together, and we have this big Valentine's Day feast with lots of sweets and tea and presents out the wazoo. And it was in the middle of a snowstorm, which was hysterical. I think Valentine's Day and Indiana snowstorms just go hand in hand. But we all made it there, and we all made it home safely. My mom spent the night at my sister's so that she didn't have to drive in the snowstorm. But anyways, so I came to my mom and her opening her present, and I said, Mom, I'm really sorry. I think it's too small for you, but this is what I intended to make for you. And she opens it, and she's, she loves it because if you've seen the passerine hat, remember the picture, this is what my mom paints. She paints birds all the time. If you go onto her Instagram account, which is, I'll put the link. She's changed it. She's Watercolor Tales on Etsy, and I think she's laurawinslow.d on Instagram. I'll put the link down below. But she is painting birds all the time. And this line of birds looked like a line of sparrows that she had recently painted. And that's why I thought I have to make this hat for Mom. Oh, and she loves to go on owl hunts. Not hunting, but they're like owl spotting walks in the park that we live close by. And they go at night in groups. It's really adorable. I think you have to be of a certain age for it to be super cool, but it's really cute. They're all people of certain age, and they go out owl hunting. It's just adorable. I want to go sometime just to film it because it's so cute. Anyways, okay, so she opens the hat. And she immediately, she recognizes the significance of it. It's her birding hat. She has to have this hat. And she puts it on, and it's a perfect fit. I was flabbergasted. Your head is that small, Mom? I couldn't believe it. So I didn't have to worry. And I said, oh my goodness, I had been worrying myself sick. I had gone to the store, especially to get more yarn, and it was a perfect fit. So I will now be forever knitting my mom 18-inch circumference hats. So if you have a small head, go down a needle size on the passerine hat and it will fit just fine. So that was fun. That was a little, so that's a finished object that I don't have. I actually borrowed the hat from her for a week, thinking I would podcast, but I didn't get the time. So the other things that I finished were the tube socks for Arthur, which he has been wearing in his boots. You can see muddy. I need to wash them. He's been stomping in the mud. The snow has made lots of mud. And then I finished my beautiful Arnie and Carlos socks, which if you've seen, I did a little tutorial on not mine, but the heel that I love to use the most, the garter stitch short row heel. So you can find that on my channel. And yeah, I finished these. I think that my mother would like a pair like this because she did ask who these were for. She really liked the colors. And I felt so bad to say that they were for myself. I could take them out and make them smaller and shorter, and then they would fit her, but I could also get her the same colorway and knit her own. Then we'd have matching. So those are the finished objects for this week. Not a ton, but just a little bit. Works in progress though. That is kind of fun. So I'm almost finished. This is like almost a hoe too. It's not a hoe, but my Arabella scarf is almost done. Look at how long it is. Whee! Oh, wait, I've got parts of it in. Yep, there we go. So if you remember, this is the Arabella scarf from Scano yarn, and I'm going to be putting it together as I'm going to be grafting the ends together and putting it as a cowl, an infinity scarf, which I think will look really, really pretty doubled up for this spring. So I've been enjoying that. I'm about, let's see, two colors away from the very end. So next time I'll probably be wearing this. It's been fun, and the yarn has been absolutely delicious to work with. So I definitely need to get my hands on some more Scano yarn because it's a joy to knit with. It's one of those yarns that you just really look forward to working with. So that's something that I have been working on. Another thing that has been in the works is a cardigan. It's high time I start another sweater. At least that's what I felt like. Then I remembered I had that sweater that I need to finish, so that was fun. But the Georgia cardigan, I wanted to make just a simple cardigan out of fingering weight yarn. So I'm making the Georgia cardigan by Jane Richmond, And I'm doing it out of Malabrigo sock. You can see I have started it, but there's not much to see. It's this beautiful navy blue color. The color is Côte d'Azur. So it's going to be very nice. Not much to see right now, but I love navy blue and it seems to go with everything. And so far the pattern has been fun. It's been one of those fun, relaxing knits. Like it's not complicated, which is perfect for me right now. So that's another work in progress. I'm going to get one more work in progress that is not here. Okay, one of the other things that I'm working on is this sock. I'm using, let's see, Regia Color Mania in the pastel colorway. It's really pretty, and I really have been enjoying it because it comes out with this gorgeous tweedy effect in the sock. Isn't that pretty? It's like speckled. But I figured out something else with my favorite garter stitch sock heel. Are you guys sick of the garter stitch sock heel? I just love it. I realized that one of the areas that could become a problem is right above the start of your heel. So this is the garter stitch sock short row heel is actually, you know, when you do it, here, where's my other one? There's not a ton of space above the heel. See how it's kind of a smaller heel. So is the fish lips kiss heel, but it doesn't have that extra space that maybe a heel flap and gusset does above the start of the turn. So I thought, well, what happens if you put in about, I don't know, I think it's like 12 or 15, 16 rows above the start of the short row heel, and you work them in garter stitch so that it flows naturally into the heel, but it provides a little extra protection. I haven't had a hole in my garter stitch heels yet, but I thought I've been darning a few of my mom's socks. She brought over another heel flapping gusset heel of a sock that I had knitted for her a long time ago that needed to be darned, and her sock holes usually come right above this ball of the foot place or ball of the heel, so right in here. And I thought, well, why not reinforce that on a short row garter stitch heel. So about an inch or 12 rows before I knew I wanted to start my short row heel, I worked the back stitches in a garter stitch, and the front stitches I kept in stocking knit stitch. So how you do that in the round is one row I would knit all the way around. The second row I would purl the back stitches and knit the front stitches, and then again knit all the way, knit one round, and then the next round I would purl the back stitches and then knit the front stitches. So that's just created a little bit more reinforcement, and I really like it. I'm curious to see how it will feel and how it will wear in my shoe. But I'm definitely going to try this now, from now on. So, yeah, I think it's good. I'm excited. So, that is that. I've gotten a low battery signal. Better hurry up. I talk too much. There's a ton of spinning to do, which almost I should have a specific spinning segment. So maybe I'll film a specific spinning segment tomorrow and clip it on at the end. But one of the things that I wanted to do is you hear me talk about my knitting life, and one of the things that I love about this podcasting community is I watch watching other podcasts and hearing about their knitting life. But I would like to hear from all of you, or as many of you as want to participate, about your knitting life. And one of the ways that I'd love to facilitate that is sending out a postcard to you. Here's my postcards, aren't they cute? Sending you a postcard and getting you to take a picture of your knitting in your daily life, either a still picture, and I'll hopefully have examples for you right after this. A still picture, just a picture of the postcard and your knitting, and I'll give you a few hashtags, and then hopefully you can tag me too on Instagram. And or you knitting someplace and holding up the picture. I just think it would be so fun to see your knitting life. So if you want to participate, send me a message on Ravelry with your address, and I'll send you a postcard, and it will have the hashtags on the back. You can post them on Facebook if you're on Facebook, and you can tag me. Instagram, post them in the Ravelry group. I'll just a Ravelry thread for that so that we can see each other's knitting life. And I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun just to be a community together in that way. So PM me on Ravelry if you want to participate, and I will send you a postcard. It'll be fun, I think. We'll see. So I better run, and I'll charge up my camera, and then I'll come back probably tomorrow, and I'll show you the spinning. So I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Hi friends, we're back with just a little bit about spinning. Last time we sat down together, I was spinning up some farm fiber. So I was spinning up some raw, I had washed it and then I was carding it, merino from my mom's cousin's farm in Maine. And I applied it with a bit of mohair that I had carded and then spun up as well. So it's fun. It's a fun, curly, very uneven yarn, but it's kind of lumpy, bumpy, and fun. So it was fun to spin. I had a great question in the group from Knit Nerd, and thank you very much. It was a great question about, am I going to dye this, and at what stage would I dye it? Would I dye it, obviously I didn't dye it in the locks, so am I going to dye it as yarn? And I kind of, I really enjoy dyeing, but sometimes I do enjoy working with the natural product. So this particular skein I'm planning on leaving white. If I was to dye it, I would probably go ahead and dye it in acid dyes. And I like to dye in my garage. I don't like to use my kitchen at all for acid dyes. So I dye in my garage with crock pots and electric burners out there just to keep everything out of the kitchen. But acid dyes are my favorite to work with. I have shown you guys some dyeing that I have done before, and I've done it with John. When I do it with my children, I use Kool-Aid dyes because I just don't want to expose them to the acid dyes at all, not at this stage. So if I were to dye this, you could dye it at any stage, really. You could dye it in the lock, you could dye it after you've carded it, you could dye it at this stage, you could also dye it after you've knitted it into a finished item. So this I'm not planning on dyeing. I realized I have, here's some other hand spun. This is just pure merino top that I spun up. Nice chunky. I realized I need to go through my hand spun stash and come up with some projects. And in some sense, it would be fun to put together a funky sweater that uses all of these things. Maybe that uses all of my natural hand spun, or maybe that uses all of my white hand spun, because I like spinning for the relaxation, for the fun of making a yarn from the very beginning. So I don't know, we'll have to see. But I did do that, and the last 2 months I've concentrated just on natural farm fibers. So things that haven't been dyed, things that are either raw and needing to be processed, or that I have that are in their natural fiber that's been in their natural state. So that's what I've been doing. Well, I happened to go to Knit Spin Farm, which if you I don't know if you've watched Joanna's podcast, but Joanna is now on YouTube, which is fantastic. She is usually a video podcast on iTunes, and it's easy to download through iTunes too. But I'm just on YouTube a lot, and so it's wonderful to subscribe to her there and watch there. So thank you, Joanna, for getting on YouTube, and I hope it's not too difficult to keep up. And if you don't know, if you haven't watched Joanna's podcast and you love farms and sheepy things, you have to go on over and subscribe to her channel because it's fun. She just had a baby goat update. And we were going up to see the baby goats. A few weeks ago, Arthur was driving in the car, and we were in the countryside going up to my in-laws, and we were looking out the window, and he was pointing out the horses, and there were some sheep, and there was actually some buffalo. There's some buffalo on the way up, and there's some pigs. And then he said, "Chickens! I love chickens! Look for chickens!" And we didn't find any chickens on our way up. I think, they were probably in the back of all the farms that we were passing. So we didn't see any chickens. And so I thought, oh, poor soul. Here's this 2-year-old, and he loves chickens. So we don't have any chickens around us. I need to go and get him a play date with some chickens. So I think I spoke to Joanna on Instagram, and then I emailed her, and she said, "Oh yeah, bring them up." She's so kind and generous in that way of her time. And up we trotted to Knit Spin Farm, which isn't too far away, and I let him out of the car, put his boots on him, and he made a beeline for down the little path where he knows Joanna keeps her chickens, and he was so excited. He thought he was just in heaven. So then Joanna also has 3 baby goats. Oh my goodness, they are so adorable. I think they're 2 months old now, so they're fairly, well, they're not large because they're baby goats, but they're larger than they have been. But they're just Arthur's size, and Arthur walks into the barn, and I'll have to insert some pictures here because they're just too cute. So aren't they cute? He walks into the barn, and immediately the baby goats want to check him out and give him kisses and romp and play with him, which he is so eager to do. And he was a good little boy. He was very calm with them and very kind, and tried to feed them hay, which they didn't want the hay that he was giving them because it was dirty. But he had a really good time. Then when we got in the car to go home, he said he was eating his popcorn because he was really hungry, and I had some snacks for him in the car, and he says, "Mama, barn, chickens, goats." Thank you, Mama. It was so cute. And then he fell asleep, and he slept all the way home, and I tried to transfer him to his bed, but he woke up. I don't think he had gotten enough to eat for lunch, but he adored it. He adored the trip. So I'm going to have to bring him up there every once in a while because he really has a soul for animals, which is really sweet. But Joanna very kindly, very sweetly sent me home with a little bit of her Clara. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you just... Clara is one of her South Downs. I hope I'm getting this right, Joanna. Correct us in the group if I'm wrong. But Clara is one of her South Downs, and it's very soft and spongy, and I can't wait to spin it. But I haven't spun it yet because I like just feeling it. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to spinning a bit of Clara. and I think I'm going to spin it up and keep this as a single skein and ply it with itself. I don't want to ply it with anything else because it's Clara. It's a little bit of Clara, and I want a little bit of Clara, just Clara. I know I'm corny, but anyways, so I was really, really awed and delighted by that. But she has inspired me, so I am breaking my rule of only spinning farm yarns or farm fiber the first few months. I might dip into some other things in the month of March, because she has been spinning up some amazing sock yarn. And if you haven't seen it, go on over to her channel and watch the last few podcasts, because I think she talks about it in each one of those. But she is spinning up sock yarn in such a cool way, so it creates this striping effect. You have two different well, I'll show you when I start spinning. So I had to get some pretty top. So I got some Quillen Fiber Arts. I have been wanting to try this wonderful dyer out of New Mexico for a while, and I needed an excuse. So here's my excuse. So she dyes lovely colors. This color doesn't have a name except color 123. So I was thinking it should be called October Owls. Doesn't it look like an owl in October? October Owls. But and then this one is called Betty's Favorite, and it is beautiful. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness. So I am planning on spinning up some sock yarn with these two. Each one is 4 ounces. So these braids are 2 ounces each. So, but together they'll make 4 ounces. So I can't wait to get started. I'm excited. The last thing that I've been working on is a big pile of fluff. Now this fluff is, I really want to spin this up because this comes from a place that I love, which is Candor Prairie. It's a like a historic museum here in central Indiana, and when you're on the farm or in the village, they act like it is 1836. They dress up, they cook, and if you go into their home and talk to them, they're going to talk to you as if you're in 1836. And I just love it because it's going back to like a slow time of life, and where a lot of things were handmade and hand done. And so my sister was there this past fall, and she texted me and she said, "Hey, do you want some fiber?" I didn't know that she was there at the time, and I said, "Well, I think I have enough." She said, "Well, there's some here if you want it. There's some fleeces. Do you want a fleece?" And I thought, well, I don't know. How much are they? She's like, "Oh, I'm at Candor Prairie, and they're giving them away to fiber artists in the city. So do you want one?" And I thought, okay, I'll just take one. So I got it home, I laid it out on the back deck, and I skirted it, and I'm not 100% what kind of fiber it is. I need to take it to Joanna and see if she can tell me. I thought it was Tunisian, but it feels too soft to be a Tunisian sheep. I know that they do have Tunisian and I think Corriedales at Candor Prairie. The Tunisian sheep are extremely friendly and will get up in your lap and cuddle you. Oh, by the way, the goats got up in my lap and cuddled me too, so I'll have to show you that at the end. So I washed this, thankfully with Joanna's very kind help. She said, do a cold pre-soak of your fiber before you wash it in hot to get the lanolin out, and that will just help remove the dirt, so that it's easier to remove the lanolin so that you can card it. So that's what I did, and it is a bit flecky with hay, so it is not going to be a next to skin kind of end product, but it is so soft and so spongy. It's again, cuddle, it's a cuddle bug. So I'm looking forward to spinning that. So I'm going to spin those 2 last farm yarns or farm fibers before I get into the dyed top sock yarn. But I'm really looking forward to that. So yes. The other thing that in the spinning department is I have been planning and dreaming up designing a spinning wheel with the, I told you last time that my dad brought by a treadle sewing machine. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's in the process, and I can't wait to show you it when we're actually taking it apart and building it. So hopefully I'll show you that. I don't think it's going to be any time in the next few weeks, but we'll see. So that's it for now, and contact me. Don't forget about the postcard, because I really do want to see your knitting life. So contact me on Ravelry, either in the group, or you can just PM me from the group, and send me your address, and I'll send you a postcard, and we can get that started. It will be fun. So happy knitting, everyone, and enjoy. I hope hopefully a little taste of spring comes to you soon. Okay, bye.